These Streamlabs always go down on me. So welcome to another video. I'm supposed to make a video, a trip video that I'm editing now, but I wanted to bring this very quick. So I'm going to recommend you some gear for those people that normally sit around inside and want to go outdoors more than you normally do. There's been some research recently that they say that people just sit indoors way too much. We are just used to the screen. And that's true. We sit around too much, and I normally do that too much as well. And there is also a reason for that, because I have a family. So I'm more of a guy that finds being outdoors very passionate. My passion is being outdoors, for sure. And I like exploring. I'm an adventurous guy, and surely not everyone is that. And as a career advisor, I know that many people, there is not the way of living for people. But anyway, we sit too much indoors. And let me see if we have some sound here now. Yes, we have. People, I have talked to people and I asked them why did you go outside like I do? Oh, it looks so wonderful, but I'm scared. I'm scared of there might be wolf, there might be mouse, there might be perhaps I freeze to death when I go outdoors. I'm not feeling secure when you are outdoors. But well, there is nothing more dangerous in this world than people. So people are the most dangerous thing, and animals, if they don't feel threatened by you, you're probably gonna scare them away, unless they are like grizzly bears. But in Norway we don't have grizzly bears, and perhaps in the States you're probably not gonna meet grizzly bears very much, and if you do, you have to have some things like that. But mouses, I have only once in my lifetime see a mouse that is alive outdoors, and it was in a very rocky small cabin way on the top. Apart from that, not a thing you see very often. So there is nothing to be afraid of outdoors, because when you also make a fire outdoors, most of the chance you're going to scare any animal away. And the animals, they scent, they hear, they feel, they hear way better than you. So if you make a fire, you're probably gonna smell that from way, and they're gonna go away anyway. So it's nothing to be afraid of. So I normally, when I go outdoors, because there are birds and might be a fox not very far, I put my air props and I try to clone my bed that I have at home. I clone my bed and try to recreate the sleeping system that I have at home. I recreated outdoors, and now this day I could probably sleep like 8 or 9 hours, because I'm normally used, and it's more, I wake up way better than I normally do here at home. So I'm going to just try to motivate some people to get the basics of the gear that you normally need to get outdoors. Now, I'm the kind of the guy that I have tried everything outdoors, and try the exchanging thing, and though I recommend gear, you probably don't need this kind of gear, but there are the technology today is kind of making, I'm kind of looking forward to use the gear as well and try the gear when you are outdoors. But really, I've seen through hikers that walk like 6 or 5 months that I might have encountered along the way. I'm more of a weekend warrior because I go on long weekends, perhaps 2 nights, 4 nights, a day trip, and go back because I have a family. And you can go outdoors when you have a family as well. It's totally very easy to do that as well, but you have to have some routines and stuff. But I have met some people that are not bringing gear at all. They like the sleep. The only thing that they sleep on is like this kind of thin, very thin sleeping pad, and this is good for the people that are used to be outdoors, and they normally spend a lot of time outdoors. But if you are transitioning from your bed and want to go and have a nice time outdoor, you probably want to recreate and have as much gear that it doesn't weigh too much, that is not expensive, and that you can go and have a nice time outdoors. Now, I think we should go way more outdoors. I think we are sitting too much indoors for sure, even I. And there is a thing that is, when you, while you go outdoors and be outdoors, you're probably gonna experience that gold moment that I call. And that moment is finding yourself that you can actually hear yourself and feel yourself more alive and relax, and don't get disturbed by all of the other thousand things that are here. Your phone, your things that you need to do at home, and everything that it's really not very important. And that's the thing about the outdoors. But the outdoors, you have to have some respect. Is the safest thing out there. It's very safe to be outdoors. But you have to adapt. You have to adapt the outdoors. You cannot change nature. Well, we all can change nature with climate change and everything, but you cannot change nature. You need to adapt for nature. OK, Google. Avbryt timeren.
Den er god. Jeg avbryter alle alarmer og nedtellinger
Nå
som
kan du
ringer
dra.
på smarthjemmenhetene.
Ta med deg drikken. He needs to go to the football training. Well, that's just kind of the thing that, yeah.
Husker du den gangen da du lagde en brødskive med kaviar og sånn?
Ja, nå gjør ikke det nå. Nå må du dra. Du har bananen din der. Det er litt for sent å gjøre det nå. For å ha en god trening, da.
Kan du gjøre det neste gang da?
Ja. So the thing is that we need to get away from all of this that is really not important. To go play football like he's doing now is a good thing because you can be with friends and everything. But really, you can do the same. You're gonna spend money on training, perhaps not for kids, but you're gonna spend a lot of time and money on the gym. You're gonna spend a lot of time and money on things that you really don't need. But getting stuff for the outdoors is a bit different because you might be outdoors and experience outdoors and also training in a way that you are keeping in more movement. So if I'm gonna pick some kind of sports, it's gonna be outdoors related and it's mostly to the nature. So go away from all of this society things that we think we are important, but it's really not very important. I can understand why it's important in a career advisor kind of way, but really we kind of forgetting being outdoors. So I think we need to go outdoors to find ourselves, to be more in one with nature, way more than we normally doing, because then you start to think, well, perhaps I don't need to have a big house. Perhaps I don't need to have a cabin outdoors. Perhaps I don't need to have 2 cars. Perhaps I don't need to have a PC anymore, and start to think and be rid of things, because I have rid a lot of things lately that I really don't need. The only thing I have a lot of is outdoor stuff, mostly. Okay, so let's go through the basics before my camera dies, like it just did. Let me see. Why it dies like that? I don't know why. There we go. So let's go about talk about the basics of the stuff you really need. Here, I don't know why it goes black on me. Perhaps might be. Well, let's go. Let's take away the camera, and then I will put a new battery later. We have the trail runners. I've been testing trail runners, and trail runners and boots are some tricky things, because in the really what you need is the shoe you have at home to get out. But when you spend more time outdoors, you're probably gonna need something that works for your foot. In my website I have talked a bit about this, but this trail runner is actually not working for me, but I know that it has worked for a lot of people. So go to your regular store. If you don't have a boot or a shoe, make sure to try different kind of boots, from hiking boots to regular shoes, just to see what works for you. The thing about trail runners is that you can go outdoors at a very fast pace, and when you go at a very fast pace, you tend to break more miles. And it's good as long as you following the trail, because when you go outdoors not following the trail, like I'm doing here, and through brush, then you're probably gonna need hiking boots or hunter boots that I'm using here. Here I was for 17 days. I was traveling like this, and it's a lot of gear, and you really don't need as much to have a nice time outdoors. But actually, my next pack is from 120 liter to this is 70 actually, and then I have like 150. But what you really need is one smaller. So if you go to, let me see, Fjell Sport for example, and we try to look up a pack. Let me see, helium. Where is helium? We don't have helium. So this is the pack that my wife has, and this is 55. Well, she doesn't have the pro edition, she has the regular edition. I think it's this one actually, and this is a more regular size pack. This is only weighs 1 kilo. And when you are traveling with trail runners, that is very small in weight, and you're traveling with a pack that is 1 kilo, and some lightweight stuff like that's the other one. There is actually the one that I have, or the pro variant. But this is a very good, very light. This is one that I have. This is the pro variant. I'm not very satisfied with it because it's stretched small on the end. But the one that my wife has, this one, is very good because they only weight 1,000 gram and is 555 or 40 liters. So it's as exact the size, right size you want for a day hike or even an overnight. And when it's very lightweight, it's not mostly it's going to cost you a lot, but actually this backpack doesn't cost. I don't think it actually costs $100 even. So it's a superb. My wife is very happy with her pack. You can open it here, and it's very lightweight. It's mostly comfortable, but I found in my use, when I use the other one, is tend to make a noise. It stretches a bit here, so it's not good on that part. And I would also rather have some side pockets here. But if you get a cheap and lightweight backpack, it's going to make you a very good. You're gonna have a very good, nice time. So the backpack is actually a thing I actually buy after I buy all of the other things. So let's go back to my website because I had one picture there of me here, and let's take a look at the clothing system because the pants that I use here is kind of fitted here. So inside this is if you go to the actual pants, I'm not sponsored by that anyway, but you have it there. Those are the ones I have. These pants are very cheap, and it's made of polyester with some nylon stuff here, and it kind of fits through the boot here, so you doesn't get things inside like stones and stuff inside your boot. So, and this actually helped the pant or have more of a lifetime. And this kind of pant is very good for both trekking, but it's also good for mostly bushcrafting stuff. So if you are sitting down a lot and you're gonna just go through the brush and set up a tent in the middle of the woods and do some woodworking perhaps, or just read a book, sit down and read a book, these are the pants for you. I would probably not hike very far with this kind of pant though. But though, because they are very tight in fit and might create you blister inside here, this area, but those are very cheap, and you can choose them in different colors. So I think those are the revolutionrace.no, and you have a lot of different kind of the areas. If you're gonna use trail runner, I would probably also recommend the XXL having very cheap right now at 800. If you want a small shoe. If you want a hiking shoe, I would probably recommend the Salomon, because they have done that very. I have those. But it's gonna be double the price from a regular trail runner, and those are more stiff. And the thing about this is that they are good for bush brushing and going outside the mountains and stuff, so you don't risk your ankle. But and you're gonna keep you waterproof unless water actually go inside. If you go through a stream and you get water inside, it's gonna take a long time before the boot actually dries. So I'm a bit looking. I think it's a very good boot to have though, but I will probably only use either on winter time or fall time, and I will switch to the trail runners if I'm going to do longer miles. If I'm going to do some very long distances, I'm probably gonna use the trail runners, and that's this is kind of a new shoe for me too. So those are very cheap now actually at the XXL. So we'll probably try to use it. Bear in mind that here you have a 0 drop. Though they're lightweight and they're going to ventilate, they dry very quickly, so it's very important that you have a good sock. But it has a 0 drop, so it basically it's not going to cushion. You're not going to get too much damage or blisters if you are using a 0 drop shoe like the one we just found. This has a drop of perhaps 3 or 4, and it's going to be way more heavier and more expensive as well. So you probably come a long way with this kind of trail runners. Where are they? The trail runners that are found here. But you need to be in mind that it has a 0 drop, and it might create you blisters as start when you are starting to use it. But this you can also use the shoe that you have at home to hike, but then you need to keep in mind that you might slip also. And I think this has a better grip under, so it's a better shoe to actually use for both running and hiking. This is a very popular hiking shoe, and it normally costs you way more than this, so this is a very good find. Okay, so we cover the shoes and the pants, and I think the sock is very important as well. I have tried many different kind of socks, and I'm going to show you one of the best socks that I found. Ulvang, a Norwegian product, they have a lot of different kind of socks, but the one that I'm only satisfied is also on sale now. I had tried them all. I had tried compression socks, I tried toe socks, I had tried all of the special socks, hunting socks, every socks that you can probably test, because I have been having problem with my feet, and I actually made a video recently. But the only sock that I swear to is the Super, and they are on sale right now actually. And this is a fantastic sock because it's very thin, it dries very quickly, and it fits the foot very good. This I hope they're going to make it more. I don't know. I'm not sponsored by them either, but I hope really they keep this going, because I cannot find this sock anywhere else other than on their website. So this is the best sock I ever tried, and I tried a lot of them. And it dries very quickly if you using the Ultra. If you get wet, you're probably gonna get wet very quickly here, but the shoe's gonna dry very fast, and the sock's gonna dry very fast. So I would probably recommend this to have a very quick shoe and stuff that you can really change very quickly and put on your foot very quickly. And I will drop the nylon and use only merino wool socks, also including in the summer months. So let me see another piece of gear that I normally use now is only as my base layer. I only have this in summertime, is silk and wool, mostly wool and silk. This keeps me very fresh. You can have a very comfortable walk where you normally sweat quite a lot when you are outdoors. It dries very quickly. That is very important. That's a thing that Nilo doesn't do a lot. I normally wear medium, but I actually put those on large. And you need to be careful when you are washing this, but it's very, very nice, and it protects you against the sun as well. So it's super comfortable to wear, and you can also wear this outdoors. And the thing about wool is that when you start to sweat, it doesn't smell so much. So it's a very good way to actually drop deodorant and go around and go do some mild carry a lot without, and you sweating, but you're probably not gonna feel that or smell that. So a good hoodie like this that is very thin is very good to find. On the winter month though, I would probably change it to something a bit more thicker. Also a merino wool, but this has more of the technology that we use in the armed forces, so it's going to be even more effective than the hoodie, and it's going to keep you even more warmer. So this might be too warm on the summer ones, but it's going to do a great job in the winter time. So a combination of having a couple, one for the summer and one for the active tracks and the warmth, the colder months of the year is going to be important to have. So you really don't only need couple of those. Other than that, you don't really need very big, thick wool stuff that itches. Merino wool doesn't itch, so it's super good. So you're actually going to be more warmer with this kind of stuff instead of that very, very big thick wool. So but you need to have some extra layer. The outer layer, let me see, I have one here that I have picked. I have the first version of this, the 1.0. It's a synthetic jacket. This is one of the most expensive jacket, but it's very lightweight. I have it in gray actually. And it's very lightweight. It's very comfortable. It's had a hood. It has some pockets, and it's also water repellent. It's going to provide you with some warmth when it's raining, and it's very, very important if you are going outdoors. I normally use down a lot, but down has the con that if the negative side that if you get sweat, it's not going to help you. But synthetic, it does. And it's gonna last you for a long years, many years, out in the color days. So synthetic jacket, very easy to pack and very, very good to have. So this is one of my favorites, the sterile equipment. You can also use shell jackets, but I'm not very fan of those. I have the orange one that you've probably seen before. This is one of and it's going to be more expensive compared to Gore-Tex jackets. Is going to be way cheaper, but I'm not satisfied with this kind of jacket, also because when he actually accidentally drop a spark of the bonfire on you, if it's very windy, it's gonna burn you, and they will not replace it either. And this they say that it is waterproof, but I finding myself more colder in Gore-Tex jacket than I normally do in synthetic jackets like this. So I will probably only use my money on a layer like this. If it starts to rain quite a lot though, then you can put some more waterproof stuff, like for example the Helsport Extreme Poncho, that you can use it as a poncho or as a even warmer layer. This is one of the best outdoors products ever made. And the Hellsport Fjellduk is good to have not only for rain and warmth, but it also good to have that comfort item, that luxury item that can actually save your life out there. So and this one, I would probably recommend this one instead of the Järven, because it's a bit cheaper, it's a bit warmer, and it also ventilates. This doesn't have the condensation that the Järven-duken normally have, and the Järven-duken is gonna be a bit more expensive as well. So if you can, let me see, Järven. If you go to, for example, Järven-duken, and you go for the extreme version here, yeah, with the Primaloft of 160 gram, it's going to be super expensive. And it has the same, Primaloft is the same thing that we actually used in the jacket that I just showed you as well. But this is going to condensate, going to create some condensation, because I have used this a lot in the army. It's going to condensation because it's completely waterproof. The Hellsport, it breathes a bit more. It's also waterproof, but in heavy rain, this is going to create condensation, and it's not going to happen in the Hellsport Fjellduk. The only downside about the Hellsport Fjellduk is that it's very big. It looks, when you pack it, is like the size of the Three Seasons synthetic bag, so it's quite big. So this is only an item that I will have at home, that will only bring on the winter time, or when I'm not bringing any shelter, I want to sleep outside. It's kind of chilly, and I only have the tarp. I will probably just sleep, use it like this in the BB, and pack the sleeping bag inside that. So apart from that, you have, let me see, I think we have covered mostly all of the hobby and stuff, yeah. So sleeping pad. One of the most comfortable sleeping pads that I have slept on is the Amok Fjord. After like perhaps 60 or 70, it actually punctured on me, because I put it a log on the knees, and it has a bit of a puncture there. But the one that I'm using now is the ultralight version, that it's a bit smaller in weight and a bit less comfort than this one. But Amok, this is very easy to pack up, to blow, to fix it up if you puncture as well outdoors, and it only costs 1,000 Norwegian crowns. So it's one of the most comfortable pad ever built. Now, if you're gonna, and it's a budget item too, because if you go for X-Bed, it's gonna cost you way more than the Amok, and does the same job. So those Norwegian dudes that I have these sleeping bags and hammocks here is going to create a very comfortable night. So I will recommend this one, and the L and W stands for long and wide. And then on winter time, to prevent puncturing this, you can use the X-Bed chair, and this is also on sale right now. You put the Amok or the X-Bed sleeping mat inside here, and you can fold it to a chair. And also it's going to provide you with some more. It's going to provide you with some. The sleeping pad is not going to be wet when you have the liner. It's not going to be filthy when you have the liner. It's going to prevent some puncturing, and you can sit, and more warmth as well. So this is a very good item that I normally use, but I only use now on winter time because it's a lot of stuff to bring as well. The size of this is going to be a bit bigger than the packing stuff for the sleeping pad. So I don't bring that anymore. I put on summertime I'll bring my sleeping pad. I put some very thin sleeping pad in that I show you at start. We can find it here. Let me see. Well, we can see if we can find it here as well. X-Lite. I put something like this underneath the. This is also on the sleeping pad. And the good thing is about this is very easily deployable. It's very easy to just bring up and have a sleeping pad or a siesta mat or something to start your bonfire. You can easily use this as a very fast deployable way to have a seat or a mattress to actually stretch your muscle and stuff like that. Other than that, on summertime I use that, or the one that I use is a bit from here. It's called the spin pad actually. Now let's see. It's this one. This is very good for some yoga, and it doesn't weigh nothing. It's very easy to pack and fantastic. So in the summertime I use this with the sleeping pad that is inflatable, or this one, and in the winter time I use normally that. And then for sleeping bags, it depends. I normally use quilt, but it's not very easy to find quilts here in Norway, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, we have ones here. You have one down quilt here. I have never tried those. But quilt is kind of the opposite of a mummy bag. And a sleeping bag. You don't feel so comprimated in a quilt. So it's a really, you have to need to try those as well, as much as possible, to find what will work for you. But I kind of feel more free sleeping on a quilt that is down that I normally use the mommy bag. So I have never looked back for the mommy bag. I actually hate sleeping in a mommy bag right now when I can have the quilt and do mostly the same thing. But that's going to be an expensive item, though you can find them very, very cheap as well. I would probably recommend you, if you are going to get a down sleeping pad, I would probably recommend you to put those in a medium. Let me see, in a medium dry sack, because this is, you can compress the down very, very try to get it in medium, but it's normal, and it's completely waterproof. If you don't have that, then use the normal that it follows with the bag. Try to get a 3 season, because if you're going to get the fjellduk, you can probably use the fjellduk as a BB outside the bag, and then you can use the layering system for the sleeping bag. So you can leave the thin pad or the X-Lite away, or you can only bring your sleeping bag, and you can bring this in the columns, and you can change it like that. So you really don't need, you only need like 3 things to layer the sleeping bags. On top of your head, I am sponsored by these guys, but one of the best tarps that I help also design a bit is the Helleren from Nortent. You cannot see here, let me see if I can start this camera. I'm gonna get real quickly a battery here. If you can see that, because I have the camera inside here. The thing about this tarp is that it's very lightweight, and it's very good because okay, let's see how far that goes. I have the tarp in here. I was showing it. It's very, very small, and the good thing about the Nortent, it doesn't take any space. You can compress this very quickly. It's very easy to pack in and out. And on the sides of the tarp you have some holes, and the stitching is very well made, and I put some carabines that make it easy for me to fast deploy the tarp when it starts to rain. And to set up a tarp like this that is so easy and practical, is going to, for the price, is going to be a thing that you're going to love. Because when you deploy the tarp and perhaps start to rain a bit, you set up your chair and you start your oven and make a fire. It's going to boost the morale very quick, and perhaps have some coffee and some time for your own. And those are the true moments that you really want to look forward for. So this is a fantastic tarp. I would really recommend. I'm sponsored by them though, but tarps are very, very expensive normally, and it has also got very good reviews. So I would really recommend to have a tarp like this. It's big, very big, so you can fit at least 3 persons down there without any fault. If you want, then you have to decide if you want to bring a tent or a hammock, because I think the community, outdoors community, is a bit split on that. Some like the hammocking. The hammocking is gonna take a bit longer time to set up, but the tent also depends very on the tent how it is. But you can come a long way if you have a 1-person tent or a 1-person hammock, and you're probably gonna find yourself more comfortable than bringing a big 2 or 3-person tent. I think most of the people do that, especially here in Norway. Though I know many also that really rather have a 2-person tent and bring that all the time, just to have some space to bring your gear and put it aside there. But it's going to weigh more than 1 kilo. It's going to take more time to set up as well, with the tents and everything. So you really need to make it easy for you, and try to balance the weight and the prices, and try to make it as comfortable as you can, as at the home you have at bed you have at home. A pillow. This is the C2Sami pillow Aeros. This is the ultralight version. It's packed super. It's very easy to inflate. It's very comfortable to sleep. It doesn't slip on the sleeping pad as well, and it's a fantastic thing to have. You should have something like this. You can probably use your jacket as well, but for me, when I sleep with a pillow like this, or the thermals that is more fluffy, and the quilt and the sleeping pad and put some earplugs on. I sleep like 8-9 hours and wake up way better than I do at home here. Fresh air and everything. These are the jacket I was talking about, the one that I have, the first version. And the sea light, you have it here. This I sometimes bring. You should and using the smaller one now. You shouldn't only bring this when you are going to spend some time, since it's winter, well, when you're moving from a bed to this, because then you are asking to have a bad night. So you need to have something inflatable like this and put this underneath the pad so you can sleep well. Let me see. Other things. Water bottle. Probably you don't need that very much, but when you find yourself a lot outdoors, I find this filtering system very good. It's very packable and very easy to bring. And very good, but you need some kind of a good bottle that you can bring a lot of water, because it's going to be exhausting being outdoors. You're going to sweat, you're going to use more energy outdoors, so you need some good food with you. You need some coffee, some things that you really like to really have like a price for going outdoors, because that's the true goal. You are actually moving outdoors and finding a moment for yourself, experience real life, how it should be, and away from all the stuff. So it's good to actually have something that you like as well, and a good breakfast, and finding kind of rewarding yourself for being outdoors, because we need to do that more, because we sit mostly all day watching Netflix on the sofa. Cooking system. So this is my bushcraft cooking system, and the ball brenner that you have in here, the solo stove, is actually it's actually not here. But normally it is. It is inside here. I don't know where it is now. This is on the other. Let me see. Go and get it very quick. So here it is. This is the solo stove that is super small. This is one green stove that is fantastic. I am so pleased with this stove. It cost $1.5, $130 around that. It's very easy to. That is the setup, and you just put small twigs here, and you light it up, and it kind of ventilates going through here around to the top, and it kind of reuses the ventilation. This is perfect all the year around, actually, but sometimes I normally only bring this on summer and fall and spring. Put it in here, and on the, let me see, we have it here, Primus Litec kettle tech, that is very, very nice. You can boil some water here, you can make food in here, your noodles, your coffee, you can, it has like a little, so you can be careful with the water you're using. You can put the solo stove here with the scrub and some lighter. normally used to be here. And you have a little frying pan here that you can make your egg and yeah, some real things that fit inside it. Normally a steak will probably not fit in here, but you can make it work if you cut it up. It's really not much, but it's what you need to have a nice thing. So you can come out, you can drink from here, you can eat from here, and it's very lightweight and it's very, for the price I think is very good. So this is my bushcraft kit that I'm not going to bring on very long hikes, but on the weekend hikes it's going to be very great. Now in winter time, in more challenging place, perhaps if there are a lot of snow, we're going to bring some lightweight Primus, and this is going to cost around the same that the other one does. Let me see. This is one. This is the one. It's going to be. You can actually get it a bit cheaper than that. But this is going to. This is actually an expedition set. If the weather is stormy, very stormy, you're probably gonna use this because you full. You can change it with gas if you want. You can use every kind of fuel on this Primus. You can use gas and everything. So it's more reliable because it's meant to withstand a harsh weather. And I normally only use it on winter time if it is very harsh weather or in expeditions. But you can come a long way with that. My new cooking system, I'm not going to show you right now, but it's actually here. And this is a bit more practical, and it's part of my ultralight. It's lighter and does almost the same thing, cook me food and stuff very easily. Let's see. We have covered that, we have covered that, we have covered that. Yes, I think. Are there any more things I'm aware want to talk about? I think, you know, a knife. Normally, you can get around with a very cheap knife. You're probably gonna need a knife that is. Try to test it. That is not a piece of shit, because a knife is a thing that I normally find quite a lot. But you should have a knife, but you really don't need to have more than this. My hunting knife though is a bit more of a cooking, if you want to cook some stuff and everything. This let me see if I'm going to use it for butter and stuff like that. I'm probably going to use a knife that is more meant for this kind of stuff. You really don't want to have a very big thick knife, because it's very difficult to cut things like bread and stuff if you have those things with you. But a thin knife that you can probably use in every kind of a way, either to prepare a fish or meat, is going to be a good investment. I think a knife is one of the things you actually need to have. You saw me putting a big lighter, and this is normally what you usually need, a big lighter, but it's good thing to have at least 2 ways to make a fire when you are outdoors, especially if you are going overnight. And the lighter is the quickest thing to use. Other than that, I normally use the fire striker, the 10 stall, the ferro rod. I don't think I have one here now, but this thing I will probably don't bring, because fish stick if it's such a bit of a win, and I normally have one matches inside here actually, just in case, because it doesn't weigh any much. But try to avoid only bringing matches, because if it wins, if it blows a lot, you are gonna have a hard time making a fire with matches, especially if it starts to rain. And waterproof matches is very expensive, so you can come a long way if you are using a lighter or a ferro rod. A ferro rod, for me, this is very easy, is okay, is the best way to start a fire, but it's not as reliable as the ferro rod. And then it's that the kind of works in all weather, and it's very, very good. Where is the ferro rod? Well, another thing that I want to mention that is very important as well. Let me see if we go to one of the outdoor stores. Pets make, for example, very good lights. This is the one that I have, 379. This is very good. I actually have it here. This is a very good light. It's very cheap. It's lightweight. You can recharge with a micro USB, the cable that you normally use to charge your phone. And you really don't need 1000 lumens, and you only need like 200 lumens, like it says here, or something smaller, because when you are outdoors, try to adapt to nature, not also try to destroy nature with 1000 lumens. You really don't need that, because it's not very necessary unless you are filming and you're gonna document them. Then you will probably need a lot of lumen, but you really don't need much of a light. Try to use your eyes to make it adapt. And I think a small light lasts longer. Is the only thing you need to see in the dark. So sometimes you don't really even need to have a light. I think that's it, guys. Also, navigation. Use your phone. If you are not using your phone, you should know the places that you are going through. If there are local places, you're probably not going to need your phone. If not, you need to have some navigation. Map and compass is good if you are going to do a long trip. That's a must-have. Don't rely fully of your phone, because when it gets cold, it might stop on you, and then you doesn't have signal if in case of emergency. But you are not outdoors to be sitting on your phone. You are outdoors to be in one with the nature. But a watch that has a GPS is a good thing to have just in case. Not really a must-have. Last thing I want to cover is the caps. Good to have, because sometimes insects, it protects from the sun, from dehydration, and from ticks getting on your head. And you can always turn it behind to just avoid the sun going to your head and getting sunburn. So I will also recommend easy. This is not a very good outdoors, though I'm selling those. It's not a very good outdoors cap, but this one, also from Stellar Equipment, you have it here. Let me see how much this cost actually. Where are they? Stellar. I don't find it. Yeah, there we go. This is my go-to caps now. It's very small. It's very lightweight. If we go to men's and let's see, cap. It's a synthetic cap. There you go. Very cheap. Very light cap is very cheap. It dries. It's very comfortable to wear. Way more comfortable than this one, though it doesn't do the same job. It doesn't look as cool as this one, but I would really recommend a hat or some kind of a fishing hat that you normally do. Ventilation, very good. Yeah, I think I've covered it all. The backpacks, we'll probably bring a backpack that is, this is my helium Bergans. It's very lightweight, it's very cheap. The only thing I don't like about this compared to my wife is that it's small here. My wife is regular, mine goes like this. But this is my 55 liter. I only bring this if I'm going to do a climbing or skiing. But you really don't need as big as this either. You can go smaller and even lighter than this. And if you get something like this, try to have some wrist pockets here, because it's making it easy to get you some snacks or something like that. But this for the price is a very good backpack. It has a frame, a little frame in here that most of the lightweight backpacks doesn't have. But many people are using too heavy packs, including myself sometimes. You really don't need that. It's comfortable. You can adjust that. You only sometimes when you load it too much, it makes a bit noise though. But it's a superb backpack with a lot of options here. But normally you will go around with some, let me see, some day pack or something like I use in Woodsman. This is nothing. This is something that you're probably not gonna get in Norway, but you can find alternatives for this very easily. So the hidden, we'll see. Hyper light is the packs that I'm getting now. Those are very popular, but you have something in out north that is similar, that is called the whiteout, and yeah, not so expensive actually. This is the Anima. This is very lightweight, but if you can find it small, like 30 liters, this would be perfect. Oh, this looks very big for it. I don't know, but something very small, like a bit smaller backpacks, like this one, for example, is 26. This is perfect for day hikes, to get in out, to break some miles. Those are very good with the very breathable mesh. You have a thin stuff. This is perfect for fitting all the gear that I have recommended already, and it's very cheap. So I think I have covered it all, guys. I think it's very important that we get more outdoors. We also have, the gear is there to bring you more outdoors. You have to remember this, because it's way different things to spend a lot of money on things that you normally do at home, other than the things you get outdoors. So the more time you bring outdoors, the more likely you're gonna minimalize your life in the home as well. because then you start to see that really I don't need all the thing, and then you start to sell stuff, then you start to travel more, you tend to see that the more important things in life are mostly share, but is also outdoors. So the gear, I think you should try to invest some money and some time, and I give you a lot of tips here to get it out more and less of the normal life and more of the outdoor. Yeah, I hope you follow these tips and keep you going. Okay, see you soon. Bye.